Hey everybody, my name is Brandon from StockSnews.com, and today I want to talk about Palantir Stock, ticker symbol PLTR, and how it is up about 18% in a single month. What we're going to do first is go into Google and talk about the macro picture surrounding Palantir Stock, and then we're going to go into the earnings report to talk about how Palantir is doing as a business, and then we'll go into the stock charts to see if there's a level or two to buy Palantir if we want to buy Palantir. So now let's get started. So here we are in Google, and here's a 1 month view of Palantir's stock charts here. And as you can see, in about a month, we are up over 18%. So firstly, that's pretty impressive. We bounced pretty hard off this $21 support level here. And we can see from the news down here that we may be moving upwards because of Palantir's announcements of investments into a company called Faraday Fusion, a cool looking EV car maker. And as we all know, retail investors are all about EV cars like NIO and Tesla at the moment. So this may be what may be drumming up excitement the past few days, implementing a lot of positive momentum in the stock. So to me, it looks like Faraday is using Palantir's products, and in return, Palantir wants its customers to succeed. So that may be why Palantir is investing in a company like Faraday. However, I actually do not want to focus on this part of the news here regarding the investments into Faraday. If we go look back into Google and look at a 5-day view, I actually want to focus on this drop here around 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 25th. We actually dropped a few percentage points pretty sharply, and I think that the news that broke around here is actually more important to Palantir as a business. So, first things first, we need to know what caused this drop. And if we look here at the news in this article by Bazinga, we can immediately see that this drop was caused here by the discovered bug in Palantir software, which is used by the FBI. And this is why this news is a little bit important to me. Again, quickly here, Palantir is a company that sells software and consulting products to government agencies like the FBI and the CIA, as well as private companies like Ferrari or Airbus. However, even though there are some private sector companies, Palantir is definitely relying on a strong continual income stream from government contracts, which this article from The Verge discusses. So what I'm trying to say here is that this bug in the software, especially one that allows unauthorized people to gain access when they're not supposed to be able to in a government department, is definitely a concern. So yes, of course, every software will have bugs and glitches, but if the bug in your product affects customers' trusts, then maybe you might lose customers. And my point here is that Palantir cannot afford to lose the government's trust. So again, this is early on in the investigation, but if this turns out to affect future government contracts, then that could definitely hurt Palantir's fundamental growth. But at the end of the day here, Palantir is a data analytics company, and a company that currently works with the United States government. The growth of Palantir will really come from signing up private companies into their services, which I think will continue to happen in the next few years because, as I said from time and time again, data analytics is a great field for growth in the future. In order to make better decisions, you need data science. And for companies or governments who do not really want to build their own in-house data analytics departments at the moment, they can pay a fee to Palantir. As this field of data continues to grow, as we continue on to the next industrial revolution, companies in the data analytics field should grow as well. So with all that said, let's head on over to Palantir's most recent earnings report to see how Palantir is doing as a business. So here we are on Palantir's most recent earnings report ending on June 30th, 2021, with this being the most recent quarter, and is compared to a year-over-year view with June 30th, 2020 in this column over here. And first things first, we can see the top line revenues here for Palantir is growing nicely, about 50% year over year. In addition, if we look at cost of revenues here, which is this line here, we can also see that we are increasing cost of revenues by about 20 million or about 20% year over year. Because we're increasing the revenues that's coming into our business by about 50% year over year and only increasing our cost of revenues by about 20% year over year, what that means is that our gross profits and our gross profit margins should be increasing. And if we look at the gross profit here, we can see that yes, math does work out, and we are increasing by about 50% year over year, both in gross profits, and our profit margins are staying stable at around 75%. However, this is where the good story seems to stop around here for Palantir, because now we have to talk about operating expenses, which is this block here on the earnings report. And we can see for every section of the operating expenses here, sales, general, and administrative, and research and development, we can see that all three of these sections are increasing year over year. And if we look at our total operating expenses down here, we can see that our total operating expenses are nearly doubling year over year. And that is not really what I want to see as an investor. As an investor, I do not think that I will see a substantial return on investment here with spending money on general administrative or sales and marketing. Yes, these expenses are important, but with a technology company, I think the best return on investment that the company could invest in is research and development, because that is investing into your product. And even though we are increasing research and development spending year over year pretty decently, I would like to see more if sales, marketing, and general administrative are increasing that dramatically as well. The third thing I want to talk about here is loss from operations, which is this line on the earnings report here. This is the amount of money that we're losing just for operating the business. And we can see here, year over year, we are increasing our loss from operations by about 50%. As an investor, this growth in loss from operations is not really what I want to see as well. I would actually want to see an income from operations. I want to see us gain money from operating our business, or at least a stabilization from the loss of operations. And right now, I do not really see a stabilization of the loss. The last thing I want to talk about is share dilution. We can see here in the numbers for the weighted averages shares of common stock, we can see here a nearly tripling of the share float, or the amount of shares in circulation. And this is definitely dilutive to shareholders. If you have one share and there are 2 shares of the company, well, now you have a legal right to about 50% of the company. But if you have one share and now there are 10 shares of the company, well, now you only have about 10% of the company for the same price. And this is why dilution is bad for shareholders. And Palantir has definitely turned on the faucet and let the shares rein in here, because this is pretty much free money for the company. This is definitely something that investors need to pay attention and consider, because it does cost investors money whenever a company does a secondary offering, as Palantir has been doing. So after talking about the fundamentals of Palantir, now let's talk about Palantir's stock charts here. So here we are on Palantir's trading charts, and we can see that Palantir has bounced off from this $21 support level here nicely a few days ago. This is definitely a good sign for the stock, as it suggests that we could still remain in this $21 to $26 or $27 trading range, made from the bottoms of these candles over here and the tops of these candles over here. We do look like we're nearing the top end of our trading range here at our current price of $25.70-ish. So the risk reward to me at this point is not really the best. I would definitely want to be waiting to see if Palantir will drop back down to the bottom end of this range around $21 before I start looking more seriously at the company as an investment. If we do break this $27 resistance level, however, we could have some headway back up into this resistance level up around $30, made from the bottoms of these candles over here and the tops of these candles over here. So now looking at the MACD and the RSI down here, we can see that the MACD short-term momentum, which is this blue line here, the derivative of the blue line looks like it wants to flatten out to 0, which means that the line is flattening out and may roll over negative underneath the orange line, which is the long-term momentum. So what this indicates is that the short-term momentum may be becoming weaker than the long-term momentum that we're normally seeing, and that's a bearish sign for the stock. The RSI chart over here, or the relative strength index, seems to like bouncing between the oversold territory down here and the overbought territory down here. This could indicate that this could be a good trading stock. However, where we are right now is pretty close to the overbought territory. So again, this is just another signal to me that there may be too much downside risk at the moment for the stock, as it could be a long way down until we get back to the oversold territory. Again, around this $21 support level is where I think is a good place to step in slowly, again, because this is normally a very volatile stock, as there are a lot of traders in the name. And if we do break this $21 support level here, then we could find ourselves all the way back down into the upper teens around the $17 level. So that was my review on Palantir stock. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. If you have any questions or if you caught any mistakes, also drop me a comment down below. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.